Real quick, we're going to add an announcement for our course here. So I'm just going to make a generic one, let students know that although they can view it already because we're a little behind on this one, that there will be some changes, but not to worry, we'll let them know and do proper introductions. So clicking on create an announcement, you have a couple options. What you see is what you get editor. You can type in all the stuff that you need to. I'm not sure if I addressed this in any other video yet or not, but when you're using the what you see is what you get editor, which is this thing here, again, what you type and how you design it in that box is going to be how the student sees it for the most part. But if you're working with something in Word documents and you wrote it there because it's easier and you don't want to write in here and then get disconnected and lose it, it's kind of hard to paste to this. So why don't I just really quickly show you how to manage that. It's hard to paste directly from Word and into this without creating some formatting issues. That'll be very hard. So real quick, I'm just going to make a document. I'm going to write mine in a Word document, and then I'll show you how to transfer it over. All right, Word document. So okay, so there it is, pretty easy. What we're going to do though is there's formatting that you can't really see in here. In fact, even when you put this up, you can see that there's stuff in here that is going to get copied into the what you see is what you get editor. Any like special formatting and fonts may change before you put it in, but you can reset it once it gets in here. So just copy it all over, and what we're going to do is take this and we'll put it in an intermediate that's going to remove all the formatting, and then we can put it in Blackboard. Why would you do this? Often Blackboard does stuff like I may type something, and by the time I'm finished typing it, and maybe it's a little lengthy, but I finished typing it and I hit send and it's logged me out. And so I lost everything and I didn't have time to copy it beforehand. So that's one reason you'll work in Word and then just copy it over to Blackboard as well. And then it's very difficult when using a mobile device to enter into some of these fields because the scroll stuff doesn't work with Blackboard on a browser on your device, and this stuff isn't always accessible through the app. So those are the reasons. So we'll copy that and then just open up your PC's notepad. If you're using a Mac, you can find, I think it's called text editor. So I'm going to just go ahead and copy the stuff that I had in, and you can see it doesn't look exactly the same, but it's, for me, this is just a straight informational email. Then we'll copy this and we'll paste here. All right, so it took away my space there, but now that's there and I'm basically done. So something that you'll want to just kind of think about is if you're just writing straight text, often it'll copy over from the Word document, probably okay. But it's when you do things like embed a picture or you put a table or you change the heading size, those things are read completely differently from here. And another big kind of bummer is if you're writing a list and you're using bullets in the Word document, it will copy into the what you see is what you get editor here in really weird ways that are hard to fix, and they look really crappy. The information's there, but the tabs that it uses to line up the bullets are all over the place. So usually I will use this especially for things like that, bulleted lists. Okay, so that's that. You can add an attachment if you need to. If you add an attachment, just put your cursor at the end of the document because it will add the attachment and say, you know, EMS syllabus right here in the middle with the link right there in the middle of your text. So it adds it wherever the cursor is at that time. So just put it down here and click the add button. You can embed a couple things and you can add pictures, and then you can launch a math editor so you can show equations, especially for drug calcs and such. All right. So down here, duration, not date restricted means that it's going to open as soon as you hit submit. Then the students will be able to see it. They should get an email announcement as well. But I don't know that it's necessarily right away. I say that because of this edit an email announcement tab. And so usually what I'll do is if it's going to be sent right away, I just click it. And it says they're still notified even if not selected, so I'm not sure. But I want to make sure if it's something that's big and they need to see it time sensitive, then I'm going to make sure it gets to their email. So you'll click that. I'm not date restricting this, but you can use date restriction. It takes away the send of an email right now because it is going to delay it to later, and I guess it can't do that. So you can select to open and close. So if you have time and you know what's coming, it's nice to set up a bunch of announcements at the beginning of the term. Maybe like for my online class, I'll set up my weekly announcements about what is due in that week I don't really need to make that necessarily personal. I'll set those to be released each week that it's there so that they automatically get one no matter what I have going on. So there's some other tricks you can use for it. Now, the course link and using hyperlinks in here, like putting a link to a URL somewhere, that gets a little tricky. So with the course link, you can browse here and you can link to most things that are in the class. So when we announce an exam, maybe the final is opening, you can put a link in here so that when they read the announcements, they just click it and it goes to the final exams page. When you use that, the student has to be basically in Blackboard looking at the announcement in Blackboard to use that functionality. It doesn't translate well when it's emailed to them. Also, if you're using a hyperlink, the hyperlink buttons are right here. You highlight what you're going to use as your text. You click this and then it opens a window to put your link into. That link sometimes is not clickable when they receive it by email as well. So what you may want to do if it's going by email and you need them to act on it quickly and you want to make it easy for them by just responding to what's in the email and not logging into Blackboard to get to it, then I just copy the actual link and say copy and paste to your browser. That way they have it. So little tricks that can save you a lot of time and questions. And we got to put a title here as well. Yeah, okay, hit submit.